G'day folks, welcome to the Australian Sports Sedan eSeries 2023, round number 4, the penultimate round of this series, live from Mount Panorama tonight. Talk about do it just after the real thing. Mount Panorama last weekend was the feature. Well, tonight, smallish field of drivers will head out to qualify right now before we go into a 3-race format. 3 quick races tonight. Say g'day if you're watching along, get involved in the chat. It's very rare that I commentate these days, so say g'day, I'll be able to talk right back to you. And let's make this a night to remember here live on Race Stars TV. We'll no doubt talk to Ram McClurkin shortly as well, who is back tonight. Can't wait to see him. Let's get rid of the flyover, head down to the racetrack now and check out some of the drivers currently hitting the racetrack. We'll get rid of the music, we'll crank up the sound of these GTE cars, which obviously are in place of the sports sedans. We don't have real life sports sedans on iRacing, but we get as close as we can with these masterful machines. So how good was the footage that we saw of the sports sedans from Bathurst? I'm sure Ram will fill us in on all the goss there, but it's incredible speed. And did someone tell me they're now the fastest category on Mount Panorama? Incredible. I was actually surprised to see how slow the V8 supercars have become with the new aero and the new generation of V8 supercars. But anyway, here we are tonight focusing on what is an amazing grassroots category in Australia, the sports sedans, and one of those fantastic categories you can go down to your local racetrack and quite often see someone testing or a race itself. So some names we know in this race tonight. We've got Tony Don, thousands out there, Matty Dexter, Benjamin Roberts, who's been quick in basically anything he drives. I think will be pretty quick and hard to beat tonight in the Corvette. Colin Smith, we've got all the liveries, by the way, looking much better this week. So Colin Smith with the MR Automotive, beautiful looking race car. This one just going down through the chase now, and no time yet recorded. We'll see some lap times shortly. It is a short qualifying session. You can see the timer ticking down. They're probably going to get 2 to 3 laps at best in the session. As crossing the line now, Roberts has just gone purple sector 1, and we look back to Dexter just starting his lap now. Colin Smith also on screen right now, just starting a lap as well. Hello, Mr. Ellenbergen, saying enjoy the challenge. Hi, Luke. Hope to be back with you when I can. It'd be good to have you racing as well, mate. We miss you here. And I feel like I'm wrapping it up for the year. What is it, October? Feels like I'm on the downhill runners for Race Stars TV. With most series starting to wrap for me, and F3 with the FRG boys going right through till early December, but then it's going to be break after that for Christmas. So what are we? October, and I'm already talking about Christmas. Hey Ran, how are you, mate? Welcome tonight to the broadcast, and fresh back from Bathurst, yeah?
I am, buddy. I heard just talking there and I thought, oh, Luke's going to be missing me. I better get back here.
Always missing you. After the last round was, I got to apologise, it was a debacle. We had trading pain issues due to an iRacing update. And
I think I stuffed up something as well. So
that was probably the least of my worries that night, mate. Fancy iRacing, you have to untick the high quality images now, otherwise it puts other paints on other cars. So
really?
Yeah, it was some anyway. Weird gremlins. We love weird gremlins.
It sounds sports at Annie.
Yeah, that's it. Now give us a quick wrap from your words from the weekend, man. Is it true that the sports sedans are now the quickest class on a Bathurst weekend?
Yeah, look, Jordan did a 2:02.6 in qualifying, which was the fastest car at the race meeting. So yeah, we don't want to blow up too much about being faster than other people, because all the categories are very different, and we're lucky to have a rule set that allows us to build cars that can go quite fast. It was a great weekend. Supercars were really great to us. We only have good things to say about all that. We were a little bit disappointed about race 1 and 2 being red flagged due to some incidences, but I think we made up for it with race 3 being green. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome, man. And it's good to have the category with a real spotlight on it again. And I think a lot of people just realizing, these cars are just incredible.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people said it was their highlight of the weekend. I suppose not to, I suppose it wasn't the most exciting Bathurst for supercars. Like, I'm sure that it was pretty, there were some cool things that happened, but we all love it when it rains or when there's some stuff happening, throwing that at the boys. But yeah, we got a lot of good feedback from the crowd. It was really cool having lots of people coming over to look at the cars, and we were able to explain what the concept of the category is. And yeah, they were giving out posters and show bags and sports sedan stuff. So yeah, it was
heaps
good.
cool, heaps cool. Hey, just saw Mark Pry go across the top there to a purple sector, so interesting. Doing very, very well out there tonight with a fast middle sector on this racetrack. Now, tonight we've got 13 or so competitors. Talk us through the format for tonight. We've got short races.
Yeah, so I think I've followed... What have I done? Let me have a look. I set this up before I went away. I think we've got like have we got a 5-lapper, an 8-lapper, and a 10-lapper or something like that? I think that's what I've got.
About right.
So yeah, so they're just short little races. I thought, I know that the numbers are dwindling a little bit, unfortunately. Obviously, following the main series like we are probably doesn't suit all the sim people. But it's all good. We've got one more after this, and I spoke to Robbo, and I think you'll probably be a little bit happy about this. I think we'll wind it up for now. Yep. The world has changed back to being busy, and the sports now people are pretty busy. So, we'll hopefully try and get a few more people to show up to the final one to go out on a high note. Pete Ellenbogen did apologise that he's just been in the wars a little bit, so he couldn't get on the sim, and he probably won't make it. But our best wishes out to Pete, and hope he feels better soon.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm probably wrapping things up too at the end of this year. It's been 4 years of craziness and 709 broadcasts tonight, so
it just feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, leave it when it's been a good thing.
Yeah, I think we're on the tail end of it. It was really great, and I'm really glad that it brought some more awareness to sports sedans, and now sports sedans are doing it in the real world. I think this year's been quite positive and a big year for them. A lot of work has gone in by the guys that run it, John Goulet and Michael Robinson, and also the Precision guys, Doug and Family Hotels, and yeah, there's been a lot of people involved in making it a really good series this year.
I'll make a deal with you. If we ever have another pandemic and we're all stuck indoors for another year, we'll kick it off again.
Hell yeah, we will. Hopefully it's not like a zombie apocalypse, because that could get a bit interesting.
Very good. Well, qualifying, we're just down to the last couple of seconds now. Benjamin Roberts, I would tell you what, it's close between himself and Stu Vaughan. 64 thousandths of a second cover the top two, so looks like those two will be in a good fight. Jordan's gone P3, 1.7 seconds off, and it's really close then between Jordan, Matt Dexter, Tony Don's really quick in there as well. So nice and close between the drivers. But we're about to go down to race one.
We are. I haven't done any laps here yet. I've been so busy. But we'll see what happens in this race.
Right, good luck, man. Good luck.
Cheers.
We'll chat soon. So Rand's going to head off and race. Here is your starting order. Let's get through it now. Benjamin Roberts will kick it off from pole position on a rolling start, as the sports sedans do. Stu Vaughan will start alongside him for CXC at Daytona Racing. On the second row tonight, Jordan Knockolds will start from P3. Matt Dexter next to him. It is a progressive grid, so if you can move yourself forward throughout the night, it's going to do you justice for races later on. Tony Dawn starts from 5th tonight, with Mark Pryor rounding out your top 6. It's Colin Smith then out of P7, and Michael Fowles in your top 8. Rocky Barlow and Hayden Carroll to round out the top 10 for tonight's first race. Curtis Dexter will start from 11th on the 6th row, with Adrian Pryor rounding out your top 12. Then right at the back, all by himself, without doing a lap at all, it is Rand McCloken on the very last row of the grid. We'll try and flick over to that last row if it says... There we go. Evil AF Racing, Rand McCloken will start from lucky 13 at the back. Let's head down now and have a look at the race cars as they get set for a start here. Roberts tonight in the Simrigs DPR entry, grabbing himself a pole position. Rob Benson saying, "Let's go, Geordie. Paint looks good and he looks fast." He will be starting tonight from P3 in the BMW. Good mixture of cars tonight. Like I said in the intro to the broadcast, we don't have sports sedans as such in iRacing, but this is the closest we can do, and welcome anyone that's watching tonight, fans of the sports sedans, fans of motor racing in general, fans of Race Stars TV. G'day and hello. G'day Graham Ellis as well. Nice to see you too, mate. Let's get set for a start here We've got a blinking car. It is Stu Vaughan. Let's hope he gets that sorted out. We'll wait for the green light as they crest the hill. And we are racing here at Bathurst for race number 1 of the evening. The Corvette leads us down towards turn 1, and he gets through there nicely. In fact, all of them have made their way through. Oh, just as I've said that, we've got a huge crash, and a couple of cars involved in that. It is Tony Don and Matt Dexter after qualifying so well. We'll go back and have a look at a replay shortly, but it is only a 5-lap race, this one, so unfortunately that's going to put them right to the back. The best they can do is probably hope to just carry on and be on the tail and maybe pick up a few more places as others drop off. Here's a replay now of Matt Dexter. Have a look at this. So up the front, oh, they both just synchronized spinning. So neither to blame for the other one's crash, but they've both stuck it in the wall on the opening lap of this race. Roberts leads us over the top for the first time up towards McPhillamy. Let's have a look at this. Look at the speeders. They come across the crest there and then race away towards the Coast High skyline, just clipping the wall. I've been told that that clipping of the wall is actually just a slight net code thing. It's not really hitting the wall, hence why there's no damage on the sides of the car. But Roberts with a 0.7 of a second early lead here. There's Knockholes. There's a bit of a brake lock up from Vaughan in front. Knockholes as well dragged the brake in through the elbow. And now down Conrad Straight, the closest two competitors on the racetrack right now is actually Hayden Carroll here chasing down Curtis Dexter. So let's jump on board with H-Man from Machine Cult Esports. Let's see if he's going to put any pressure on this opening lap of the race. Just backing out, not pushing the point too hard to start with. So I'm expecting this to be a pretty spread out field this first race tonight. Roberts already with a gap at 7/10. Now Stu Vaughan, who's flashing in and out slightly. He does a 2:01 from a rolling start, Roberts. Not a bad lap time that. We did see them dip into the sub 2-minute laps in qualifying. But look at the distance already. It's Mark Pryor, who's doing very well tonight. P4 up 2 positions, and on his tail the BMW 1000 up 3 spots. So Michael Fowson for the G&A Racing entry also going forward. I was watching him earlier in practice as I was setting up, and he was looking very quick tonight. So we jump on board as we head up towards the cutting, turn it in, hope for the best, just lead into the throttle there, try not to stamp on it over the hill. We've got our race time set quite early in the morning, as you can see from the sun rising. It's the weather conditions at 6:41 a.m. 19 degrees is the track temp and 18 degrees ambient clear skies. So perfect conditions for racing in this very brisk morning here at Mount Panorama, and 1000 holding them well. Lockie Barlow in the background. Oh, how to think about going too wide with Colin Smith, who's putting a huge amount of pressure on the Aston Martin of Colin Smith as they head down through the dipper. And I'm glad he pulled out of that side by side. So I think Ram McClurkin also involved in that turn 1 incident. We might have missed that one. We lost Rand at the start of the race, so he's back in the pit lane getting some repairs done. Out in front, the challenge is now on. Stu Vaughan makes his move and goes to the lead of the race. So first overtake for the lead 2. And there was me thinking that Roberts was going to run away with this. Now Stu Vaughan, who's got a fantastic looking livery on that car, has put in a ripper of a lap. I'd like to see what this lap time is actually. We'll see it flash up shortly. I reckon it's going to be sub 2 minutes. It is. So he does a 1:59 on second lap of the race. Damage on the side of Roberts' car too. I wonder if he's had a bit of contact somewhere there. Ben showing some right-hand door damage. And I wonder if that didn't attribute to the overtake there. Maybe he got into the wall down at the elbow, and that's where Vaughan's been able to get through as they now go wheel to wheel again. Roberts says thank you very much, I'll have that position, and moves himself back into the lead of the race. So consistency now is the key for Ben if he can try and hang on to this one. So Vaughan once again just blinking in and out there, having a little bit of trouble with connection tonight. And Jordan Knockholes trying to stay in touch with the leaders, 1.7 seconds back. His last lap around. Let's have a quick look at the lap time display. His last lap was a 2-minute flat, 0.3. So he is pulling away from Mark Pryor behind, but not really impacting on the leaders at this stage. Mark Pryor has been impressive. Like I said in qualifying there, he put in a purple sector across the top. And if you're going to put in a purple sector across the top of Mount Panorama, is one of the proudest places you can do it. So good drive so far by the grumpy motorsport driver, holding on to P4. Another one that's come through from the back, Curtis Dexter, currently sitting in the Aston Martin in 8th place. So he's got the big M on the side of that car from Machine Colt. And he's just about to put a challenge, I think, on Barlow as another 59.4 for your race leader, Ben Roberts. They're trading 1 minute 59 second laps. We've got a car in the fence there. That was the MR Automotive car. Colin Smith, unfortunately, has just put it in the wall at the final corner. So he'll turn that around and hopefully get back into this. I think that was Rand, wasn't it? Yeah, Rand's just giving the other drivers a bit of room there. I reckon Rand hasn't done a lot of practice for this one, and he's just trying to get his rig working how it should. As we see Roberts slowing. Roberts has dropped back to 3rd now, so I'm not sure what's happened there to Ben. Has he had a drama going up into turn 2? Let's have a look at a replay of that one. So Roberts was well in the lead as they went up the hill, up Mountain Straight, and then watch this into turn 2. Yeah, he tipped it back in and somehow managed to keep that off the fence. So good job by Roberts in the end to not just cream that into the wall, but he has lost a couple of positions and will now need to try and fight back, which he will do. Vaughan leads from Knockholds and Roberts your top 3. So the speed of that Corvette, pretty evenly matched, I've got to say, with the BMW. It was neck and neck all the way down Conrod, but Roberts finds himself back in 2nd now. He's only going to have one more lap to have a challenge here at winning the race as we get the white flag, 1 to go. It's Vaughan leads Roberts and Knockholds your top 3. Mark Pryor just starting his last lap now. Nice gap over Michael Fowson. Shouldn't be challenged, but Fowson's got his hands full here with Curtis Dexter and Lockie Barlow. So good race here for the minor placings. Further back down, Lockie right on the back of this, the top Porsche runner at the moment. So we've got 3 different makes in the top 3, and here they are all together. See Stu Vaughan still using all of the racetrack and more there, just skimming the fence. The entry to the cutting. Disappears on us again. It's a frustrating thing when you have that blink in, blink out. We'll sit here with Roberts in P2 and just jump on board. Look how aggressive he is across the top there. Right out to the fence. You can see the bite the front tyres have as he turns over the top, filming, and then starts to point it down towards the Asses. Just modulating the brake through here, getting it to turn in and then squeeze the throttle. Don't jump on the throttle because you will walk it straight into the fence. And oh, another blink, and Roberts will see him disappear, reappear. Oh, and he hits the fence again. Roberts, did that do damage? Yes, it did. So Roberts has hit the wall there on the exit of the elbow probably 3 times out of the 5 laps tonight. And you can see what it's done to the bodywork on that beautiful Corvette. And that will hurt his straight line speed. And this is where you need straight line speed when you're trying to finish up a 5-lap sprint race here tonight. But Stu Vaughan, I think he should win it from here. Only 1 corner to go as he disappears on us again. It's going to be the first time we don't focus on the leader crossing the line, I think. But through the final corner to take the win in race number 1, the checker flag drops. Stu Vaughan wins it by 0.3 of a second over Roberts. Knockholes gets a great third position. Mark Pryor up 2 spots to come home in 4th, so good job by Mark. He'll progress onto the second row of the grid for race 2. 1,000 up 3 into 5th, and then it's Dexter, Barlow, Carroll comes home up 2 spots in 8th, followed by Smith and Tony Don. Rounding out your top 10 tonight in race number 1. Back shortly with race number 2. So race 1, run and done. Ran. What happened there?
I don't know. The car just turned right. I don't know what happened. It was like a glitch. And then I couldn't see anyone on my relative behind me. And then I reversed and took out Matt. So yeah, I did a proper race 1, didn't I? Like real life. Real life wasn't me in real life, thankfully.
we missed all of that. So where did this happen? Up at turn 2?
Turn 2, yeah. The car I put on the brakes and it just suddenly just shot.
Oh yeah,
right.
we're just watching a replay now, and then it just stops on the fence.
Yeah, and then I didn't have them in my relative, and then suddenly they were there. And Tony was jumping all over the track, and then I slowed down to let the field through because I was like, yeah, I don't want to wreck any more people's races. So yeah, it was not great. I've had a few issues since I turned the computer on. I've spent the last sort of 45 minutes trying to fix things on the computer. So it's like a car. If you don't work on it all the time, it gets neglected and upset.
Yeah. All right, we're going straight into race 2. So. Make amends. It'll be you and Matt Dexter from the back trying to skid your way through.
He probably want to run into me after what I did to him. They crashed together first, so
they did.
Yeah.
They synchronized
Anyway.
spun. So
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
all right, good luck in race 2, Ren. Here's your grid for the second race tonight. Vaughan will start alongside Roberts. Those two duelled the whole first race. It was great to watch. Jordan will start on the second row with Mark Pryor, who moves up into 4th now. Then it's Michael 1,000 and Curtis Dexter, the top 6. Lockie Barlow will start from 7th on the grid with Hayden Carroll alongside him. Colin Smith and Tony Don will be hoping for a better race in race 2. Adrian Pryor starts alongside Rand McClurkin, and then right at the back will be Matt Dexter, who was involved in that race 1 crash. He'll be hoping to, I think, probably get himself up towards the mid-pack in this second race tonight. So good luck to all the competitors. We're getting set for a start. So we just watch them get set behind the safety truck, pace car, pace truck, whatever you want to call it. And 2x2, we're focusing on Roberts here, who is in second position. Vaughan's still with that jittery internet. We're looking from the ridges up here. Good shot. Shows them about to accelerate away, and well, 8 lapper this time, a little bit longer. The green light comes on and we get away well. Roberts got a slight jump on the outside. And how will they negotiate turn 1 this time? So far, so good. This is what I said last race too, and then all hell broke loose at the back, but it looks like we've all got through. Tony Don right at the back there, taking a lot of care, and it is Stu Vaughan out in front. Jordan Knockhouse putting a little bit of pressure here on Roberts. The opening lap as they come up towards turn 2. Let's check it out. Turn 2 camera, side by side, 2x2. And once again, I think they've all got through there nice and cleanly. So the opening lap jitters have been sorted out. Everyone's behaving themselves and settling in towards a bigger race. And obviously 8 laps, I think we do a 12 lapper for the feature. So as these laps get longer and longer throughout the evening, it's important to just pace yourself. No point throwing it away on the opening lap. My mute button getting a good workout tonight. I've got a bit of a cold as Stu Vaughan hits the fence. So I'm doing a lot of coughing, a lot of sneezing, which I'm trying to mask as much as I can from you guys. So I think hence another reason why I tend to just do production these days and not commentate. As Stu Vaughan tips it in to Conrad for the first time and pedal to the metal, you can see Roberts is sticking right with him. And I get caught out by that all-white car by Roberts as he pulls out from the slipstream now. And here we go. Roberts should be able to sneak through there. G'day Tyson, nice to have you watching along tonight, mate, on Facebook. We are live on Facebook, Twitch, and of course YouTube. As Roberts now back into the lead. Let's see if Jordan can stay with him. We'll crank up the audio of these cars because they do sound mega. Mark Pryor still holding on to fourth ahead of Curtis Dexter, who's made up a spot. Hayden Carroll has also made up a couple of spots in the opening lap. He'll be pretty happy with that. Jump on board with him as a 2:01.5 opening lap time there for Benjamin Roberts on a rolling start. So they don't muck around. Get away nice and quickly as we stay on board here with Hayden Carroll. He just snatches a break and gets a little bit sideways. Now heads up the mountain. Love the onboard shots. You can just see the different lines they're taking there. Both probably a little bit deep and a little bit wide. Hayden now switches to the right-hand side of the track, trying to find a way through. And he'll start to line him up into the cutting and just needs to concentrate on getting his braking right here. Nice and smooth. Brake as late as you can without snatching a break and then close right up onto the rear bar of that Aston Martin. Use it for a tow down Conrad and then capitalise and overtake that thing. So he's got to plan this out, not necessarily go for an overtake over the top as Curtis Dexter leaves a bit of paint on the wall at the top of the mountain. We go back to the leaders now. Alex Newton saying, "Goddamn daylight saving caught me out." Bloody Eastern States. Oh man, it's crazy. I think I got to fly to Perth in a couple of weeks. I think coming home I'm going to lose about 100 hours. It's like going around the world backwards with daylight saving as well. What is it, a 5-hour flight becomes a 6-hour flight, something like that. Crazy. So, good second lap of the race here tonight. I just want to focus a little bit back on this man, Mark Pryor, Grumpy Motorsport. I've been watching Mark. You know, I said at the start of the broadcast, I'm up there at 709 broadcasts tonight. It's ridiculous. I've sat that many nights in front of this computer. But I remember him early days, wouldn't qualify, would get out there, very shy racer in the sim world. I don't know about the real world. I think he's a bit different in the real world, but in the sim world, he was very shy. But now he's right up there. He's happy to qualify well. He's racing well. He's not really having to challenge anyone. He's got a bit of a gap in front and behind. But consistency is something that Mark's worked on, and he's doing really well. As in the background there, Colin Smith just went for a wild ride. And there's a place being taken now. I think Matt Dexter snuck through on him, moves himself up into the top 7. Alex saying, better find time to visit Racecraft. I need to do that. So yes, I will try and get to Racecraft. I'm heading over there just for one night down to Fremantle. So see what I can do. See how much Johnny will let me sneak out of there into my carry-on for the trip home. Watch Matt Dexter now up the hill, right out to the fence there, saying good day to Mark Taylor, who's in the crowd at the Fujitsu sign, and then we see Colin Smith just trying to recover from that earlier spin. But back to the top because there is a crash car. Stu Vaughan in the wall at the dipper. He's going to try and reverse out of there. But what has happened to Stu? I think he may have done this by himself. Let's have a look. We go to a replay now, and that's a little bit later. Let's just go back to the actual replay. Stewie Vaughan is trailing Roberts. He's going to get out of shape here, isn't he? Up over the curb. Back end's going to get away from him, and not the best place to have a spin like that. In fact, he almost kept it off the fence. Some good driving there, but right at the end he just took the barrier and then reverses his way and tries to regain a position in the race. Drops back to 8th place, sadly, with that spin. And that's put a huge gap now at the front between our race leader and P2, Jordan Knockolds. So we'll skip through a few different cars here. Here's Ran back in 11th place. Good looking livery on his Corvette, the newer of the two Corvettes in the iRacing world. And he's just, I think, just getting those feeler laps still. He's 50 seconds off the lead here. We've lost Lockie, have we? No, Lockie's still out there, and Michael Fowles, and they've both unfortunately lost a lap, but they're continuing on. This is the only real battle we've got on the racetrack, so we'll stick with this for a little while. Hayden Carroll is chasing down Curtis Dexter. Let's jump on board with Hayden Carroll. Enjoy this over the top of the mountain. Hayden Carroll closing in. You can see the gap to the cars in front too. You've got Mark Pryor, who's got a lap car in there. I think that might be Lockie Barlow just in front. So Lockie's just trying to unlap himself here. But you got Pryor, then Dexter next in line, and then is that Hayden Carroll? It is. So Hayden now can probably fancy himself getting a podium if he can keep this up. He's still got 3.5 laps to do this. Lockie's going to stay out of the way here for this fight. Hayden will now sneak through as well. So those three cars we're looking at, Mark Pryor, Curtis Dexter and Hayden Carroll, are only separated by just on 1.5 seconds. So here is a battle to be interested in. BMW versus Aston Martin versus Corvette. Who do you put your money on here across the top of the mountain? I reckon the BMW is probably the most nimble over the top. Straight line, you've got to probably put your money on the Aston Martin. GT1 car is super quick in a straight line, always has been on the iRacing, and it's a great concept that Ran and those that help in this series have come up with, just combining these cars to race together. And what's the new iRacing has just brought out an update, haven't they? Is it 14 different makes of cars you can race now? It's incredible that they've, remember for so long it was it's only 4, wasn't it? For a long time there. Anyway, it's getting bigger and bigger, and I can imagine there's going to be some crazy races out there with GT3 and V8 supercars and sprint cars all mixed into one these days. But all adds to the fun. I'm actually looking forward to setting up a rig again. I think in Christmas time I'll probably wrap up the broadcasting and go to racing again. Who knows? As we see a new fastest lap for Benjamin Roberts. He's ruthless out at front. He does not slow down, that kid. But yeah, I'd love to get back into actually racing these things. It's been a couple of years now with the setup packed away in the corner. I know Johnny from Racecraft has said he'll help me design a rig someday, but we never get around to it, so maybe that'll change soon. Up the hill we go. Curtis Dexter's just starting to weave a little bit there. Show himself in the mirrors of Mark Pryor. It'll be interesting to see how Mark handles this pressure, because like I said earlier, he was very timid in the early days of sim racing. I reckon he's a little bit more headstrong now, and you'll see his mirrors full of Aston Martin grille. There's a shot out the back from Mark Pryor's car. And it'd be quite a statement if he can hold on here. There's a bit of damage on the right front-hand side of Curtis Dexter's Aston Martin as well, so he's clipped the wall somewhere around the mountain. Mark Pryor's car looks like it's just rolled off the showroom floor. It looks beautiful. So Roberts has the lead out to 6.5 seconds now. We'll stay with this battle. That's where the action is at. Hayden has worked his way up into that position, but not really being able to challenge the back of Curtis Dexter. He's not really got closer on this lap. Late on the brakes there is Dexter, who goes for the move. That's the first time he's really thrown a move in there, and they're all out of shape. Dexter's gone off the racetrack. Carroll has come to a stop and now gets going again. I think he's had a bit of a heart stopper. And unfortunately for that little battle, it's really not worked out well for Hayden Carroll, who's still off the racetrack and maybe going to the pit lane. Has he got damage? He has got damage too. How has that car been damaged in that incident? I would like to know. Let's have a quick look at a replay. So we'll slow it up. It was coming down into the chase. I did not see contact here between these cars, so slow this up. Let's watch Dexter on the inside, gets up on the curb. Unless there's damage there between Pryor. Maybe there was. It's hard to see from that angle. Nope. Oh, there's the damage there. So it was a slight bit of contact for Carroll into Pryor, and that's broken the steering, unfortunately, and put him out of the race. Incredible. Looked like a very, very soft impact, so a bit unfortunate. iRacing has looked very unfavourably on him there. Back with Pryor P3 though. Pressure has been taken off. Stu Vaughan's trying to get back into this, so he's, after that terrible crash at the Dipper, he's got himself back into 5th. I think he went down as low as 8th place there for a little while. But give this man a bit of airtime out in front. Ben Roberts has been rock solid in race 2. He's only got 1 lap to go after this. And Roberts in the Corvette with a 7-second gap now back to P2 of Jordan Knockolds. He's looking pretty comfortable. Loving the sound of this Corvette as he goes around on the final lap of this second race tonight. White flag has flown and Roberts' gap just coming down slightly. I wonder if he's just lifted off a little bit on the final lap to make sure he gets it done. Gap's just come down by 0.6 of a second to Jordan, but that's a huge margin to try and do anything about on the final lap. Watching Stu Vaughn, I think he's just got past Curtis Dexter as well. Matt Dexter still up in 4th place. Up 9 spots, so he has recovered well in this race coming from the back. That'll help him get a top 4 start in the feature race. But one big long straight to go for this man, Roberts, in the simrigs.com DPR entry. Bringing it home in style, this Corvette, singing beautifully. Top of its lungs down Conrod Straight, nearly 300 kph. Tips it in, looks for the braking zone, about 140 metres to go, and then turns it in, clips the apex, and now heads towards the final corner here. And this has been a great drive. He withstood the early pressure from Stuart Vaughan, and he will win this second race tonight. Benjamin Roberts, great drive. Rolls it over the line to take P1 by a country mile ahead of this man, Jordan Knockholes, who drove superbly as well. Takes P2, quite a spread out affair in this second race, and big props to this guy who's getting a last minute charge put on him. It is Mark Pryor, who will take a podium in race 2 tonight. What a great job by Pryor to stand on the 3rd step and withstand the pressure from Dexter right at the end there. Great drive. Stu Vaughan will come home behind Matt Dexter. Curtis Dexter will take the flag for 6th ahead of Adrian Pryor. Behind Pryor, you've got Don McClurkin and Carroll with that broken suspension. Devastating for him. Will finish way back in 10th place. Tony Don flashing in and out there still as here is McClurkin. A couple of mates here in their Corvettes, McClurkin and Carroll, fighting it right down to the wire. This is great to see. And Rand should be able to win this one. And does. A little bit of damage on his car too. So 2 races run and done. We'll get the results up shortly so you can have a look at them. But this is what it looks like for your consolidation race. And it was a great win there for Benny Roberts. Followed by Lockie Barlow and Michael Fowles and Colin Smith in there too, P11 for our second race tonight. So good drive, Benny Roberts out in front, dominating some good battles, and Mark Pryor, like I say, gets my drive of the round or drive of the race with that well-deserved P3. Ran, welcome back. A little run with you and your mate Hayden right at the end there.
Yeah, well, we got sort of smashed. There was a big crash in front of us as we were going up the cutting, and that took us out again. So yeah, and then H was there, and we were just having a muck around down the back. So it's all good, but it's good to hear there was some good racing through the field. Yeah,
Hayden got the slightest bit of contact, and it just broke something on the suspension by the look of it. It was a little bit frustrating probably for him, if nothing else.
Yeah, look, I must admit I haven't been on here for a while, and I'm noticing the car brakes a lot easier now, and a little bit of damage, like real life, affects the car really badly. And if you damage a wheel, there you have to come into the pits.
Yeah,
like more so than before.
Yeah, I think they've ramped up the damage model on these cars in particular.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. So, yeah, well, hopefully this last one goes well. So that means that Benny and Stuart are 1-1, aren't they?
One apiece. Yep. So the feature's going to be good. Stu's going to have to start from far back though, P5.
Oh, did he crash? Did he?
Crash at the dipper, yeah, all self-inflicted, so fair game for the final race.
Look at Mark out there practicing, so that's why he's doing well, because he's bloody practicing.
I was giving him a big rap, eh? I was like, remember at the start how shy he was, and he wouldn't qualify, wouldn't get on the grid, and now he's out there like ripping it.
And I don't actually think Mark has stopped.
Yeah.
Like unlike some of us, good on him, and that I think that's the thing with any pursuit, including sim racing, is practice, and practice more. I was having a good chat to Jordan Caruso, and we're discussing between natural talent and practice. Now, I think he has natural talent, but he said he practices flat out, and he believes that practice is the most important thing. Like we're talking about F1 drivers and just people that are very good, and he definitely emphasized how much effort and time he puts into everything that he does race related.
So what's his practice routine then? Is it a mixture of go-kart, sim racing and other things? What is it? Do you know? Did he tell you?
Well, so Jordan doesn't drive go-karts anymore. He obviously won many titles in karting as a kid. He's on the sim. If he's got a series that he's doing, he practices for that flat out, like every round, just setups and everything. And I suppose, it's a bit hard for him to practice in the Audi, because obviously they don't go out to practice very much. But I think he does a lot of data, like he goes over his data and all that thing. There's a lot going on there that people probably don't see, because he's a very quiet lad. Until you get a couple of beers with him and drag him around the racetrack at night and go down the dipper and get him to do a walkthrough while I'm drunk. I don't know if you saw that, Luke. But,
I didn't know.
We walked the track from the cutting.
We should be showing this.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I think I probably swear a lot. So, yeah, it was that was after all our racing had finished on Saturday night. So we went for a walk around the track, and yeah, I was probably about 4 or 5 drinks in, and he was on his first, and yeah, I was getting him to do all kind. I actually took a photo next to where Brad Sheriff crashed and sent that to Brad. Pointing at where he crashed, and yeah, and we just been a bit silly after all the hard work and obviously all the work that Jordan had done on the weekend racing.
That's awesome. He did so well. And hey, tell us, we've got one more round in the E-Series world. We've got one more round in the real life sports centers as well.
Yeah, so we're off to the Gold Coast in, I think, 3 weeks at the end of the month. So that'll be a big one. There's the Ingram boys will be running at that. So the mighty rotary RX-7 and RX-8. So there'll be a lot of people very happy about that. And Brad Shields will be running also in the rotary Fiat. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty full on. Unfortunately, I won't be at that one because I'm gonna be doing a little bit of racing myself in one of my dad's cars at Calder. But yeah, it should be pretty exciting to watch.
That's awesome. It should be good, and obviously doing a semi-street circuit here for our E-Series 2 to replicate the Gold Coast. So don't have the Gold Coast in iRacing, so the next best thing.
Yeah, what did we were going to do? I think we ended up going back to Detroit, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it's Bilal, yeah.
Yeah, let's do, even if I haven't selected that, we'll be doing Detroit because I think that, and I'm going to actually just message a bunch of people and see if I can get a few more back for the final round. If we can get 20, that'd be nice. Detroit was always one of our favorites. I think that was a great track over COVID period for the Sports Stand series. A lot of fun there.
Yeah, if we can have like a last shebang, see if we can get, I'm just trying to think, what was the boy in the Commodore's name?
The boy in the Commodore.
The boy in the Commodore. He has a Commodore Sports Sedan. Not Jordan. Commodore. White Commodore.
A white Commodore?
I'm sure it's a Commodore. Or is it a Ford Falcon? Oh my gosh. I'm having a blank, and he was...
Are you talking about Ryan Humphreys?
No. There was someone else who was very fast in the series. And I'm having a real blank now. Listen, I'll go and have a look.
Are you talking about... No, I don't know. Unfortunately, we can't pick people like Brock Schaefer and Chris Jackson because they don't use iRacing anymore.
Really? They've just gone right away from it?
There's a lot of guys that, they're not here because of that, not because they don't want to be here. They just don't enjoy iRacing. They're mainly... So they do Thursday night races on Assetto Corsa, which is hilarious with Brock and Chris and a few of the boys.
The Pickett.
Oh, Pickett.
Picketts.
South Australian dude.
He's
got a Monaro.
There you go. It was a Commodore.
Yeah, I can follow. I'll ask him. Yeah.
Josh Pickett.
He runs in the South Australian series, so I suppose it wasn't fresh in my mind because he hasn't been at the Nationals, and I was going through the Nationals. So but I'll message Miles, and I was speaking to Miles the other day about his Escort that he's turning into back into an historic car with the Chev in it, and he's obviously got his RX-8, which he's doing the South Australian series in now as well. So I'll see if they want to come along and have a run, and I'll message a few people. Like I said, like Tony obviously doesn't use iRacing anymore. He's too busy, driving around. I don't know if you heard that he had actually a failure in race 2, I believe, and it happened when they came into the pits.
Right. No, I didn't see that.
After the race. So in the race, he actually tapped the wall, I think, down the dipper. Didn't see it on TV. Jordan said that he thought he'd seen Tony hit the wall. Tony came in, they'd driven into the pits, and they were pushing the car backwards into the pit, into the marquee, and the front steering broke.
Yeah, right, okay.
So it was a kick away from braking, and that could have been very scary for him if the steering had broken. Yeah, he was a little bit shook by that, I think. Not that he would show that, but when he was talking about it at the trophy ceremony, you could definitely tell that it definitely got his attention. And he also got air going up Mountain Straight. The car lifted. Right. I think it was Mountain Straight. It might have been across the top. I can't remember now. But he said the actual car went really light in the front, and the steering had no. There was no pressure in the wheel. It was just the whole front of the car was. If what tires were touching, it was very minor. Yeah,
that's incredible, isn't it? Was there any radar guns put on Jordan's car down Conrad?
No, he's only doing Jordan wasn't the fastest by any stretch down. He was actually by fair way away from being the fastest down Conrad. I think he was doing 294.
Right. Nothing
which
to
is
sneeze
not
at.
slow. Yeah. But yeah, Tony was faster. Fogg from New Zealand was very quick. He was supposedly doing well over 300. I've heard numbers around 315.
Wow, yeah.
Something like that. So, but they didn't talk about that obviously in the telecast. I think Tomasi supposedly was doing around that time as well, that speed.
Yeah.
So Steve did really well in race one. He obviously got a big lead and then it was cut short. But mate, when he came in after the first practice session, he was actually white. He was he was like, I don't want to say scheduleless. That's probably not the correct terminology, but he was terrified. And then he went out and the next day and won a race. So I think big props to Steve Tomasi for doing that.
What a legend. All right, well,
cool.
It's time for race 3, our feature. I think it's a 12-lapper, so bolt your race shoes on, mate. It's going to be a big one.
10 laps.
10 laps, there you go.
That'll be long enough.
All right, well, good luck, man. Hopefully you bring it home on the lead lap.
Let's see if I can not crash, but I probably will.
Good luck. Right, let's go through the grid for our final race tonight of this 4th penultimate round of the Australian Sports Sedan eSeries, and Roberts will start on pole position with Jordan alongside him. Prior out of the second row with Matt Dexter with him, they had a great little duel towards the end of race 2. And then Stu Vaughan, I think he's probably the one that can take it to Benjamin Roberts if he can clear Pryor and Dexter early on. Curtis Dexter P6 on the grid. Adrian Pryor starts alongside Tony Don with Rand McClurkin on the 5th row, and he's made Hayden Carroll right beside him. That'll be a good little duel to watch as well. Colin Smith out of 11 with Lockie Barlow, your top 12, and then right at the back, all by his lonesome, Michael Fowson will start from 13th. On the grid for our final race tonight, let's head down and have a look at Benjamin Roberts as they're about to lead us away. A couple of questions there. One in the chat was from Scott. How can someone get involved in this series? Unfortunately, it's almost over. There's only one race to go for the East Series for the 2023 Australian Sports Sedans, and unfortunately that's probably going to be it. So they're going to do a bit of an invite around for the final race at Detroit Belle Isle in a couple of, I think it's about a month away, so they're going to put an invite out to all the drivers that competed across many E-Series. I think this is probably season 15 or 16 we're up to now, but I know we kicked it off. In fact, I could probably look back through my records and tell you when we started this. It was during COVID, and things have changed. As Rand said at the start of the broadcast with me, it's, yeah, it was good. It had its place. What we did was fun and broadcasting every race, and we had some big crowds. We had 5,000, I think, watch our first ever Oran Park E-Series race. So, much smaller crowds these days, but it's still lovely to have you watching on. And let's watch this final race get underway. Roberts will be eager to try and just get himself a little bit of a gap here over Jordan Ockos, who finished strong in race number 2. Wait for the start here. Like I said, watch that third row of the grid as we get the green light. We're watching for Stu Vaughan. See if he can sneak through and just get a couple of places at the start. He's disappearing once again. That's going to make everyone slightly nervous. I think he got one place already. He's up into 4th. So he's already displaced Dexter. There's a couple of cars, 3 wide in the background. Not ideal when you've got a 10-lap race to be doing that. But anyway, rev on. Trying to see who else has made up a position there. Falson's up 1 at the expense of Carroll. We're watching Hayden. Oh, sorry, no, it's there's a spinner there, is there? Yeah, 2 cars in the fence, big time. Lockie Barlow, and I think the other one was Curtis Dexter. Big crash up at turn 2 as we switch back to the lead battle of Roberts, Knockolls and Vaughan. Across the top of the mountain for the first time, striking the fence was Roberts. Stu Vaughan into 3rd now. Behind him, Mark Pryor dropped a position. So Vaughan's made the start he wanted. He cleared both Dexter and Pryor, and he needed to do that if he wants to challenge these top 2. He's got to have a fault-free 10-lap race here as we look at Jordan Knockolls in 2nd. There's the gap then back to Stu Vaughan behind. Oh, he's just run really wide through there, hasn't he? Almost clipped the fence, did Vaughan. So he's got to try and nail those corners, those apexes, and try and get rid of those mistakes that creep into his race, because that's what's costing him dearly in this one. And he lost a lot of track position there to Knockolls and Roberts, and now he's under pressure from Pryor, who's having a crack. Mark Pryor says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that position," and Mark Pryor moves up into 3rd. Great drive. He is on fire, this bloke. He wants a 2nd podium tonight, Mark Pryor. And all those that have been watching this since day one, I know Peter Ellenberg said, "Nice one, Mark," with a thumbs up emoji. Yep. Great job as Stu Vaughan into the lane. Did he hit the wall? Maybe he has. And maybe that damage is going to force him to retire from this race, as a 2:02.5 rolling start lap there from Benjamin Roberts has this well and truly in control. Looking back further, up 3 spots around McClurkin, has moved himself up into the top 6 now, ahead of Adrian Pryor. Falzon and Roberts are behind him. We've got 4 cars in the pit lane. So only 9 cars remaining on the racetrack, unfortunately. Stu Vaughan, Colin Smith, Curtis Dexter and Lockie Barlow all out of the race. We'll have a quick look at that opening incident on lap 1. It was Lockie Barlow and Colin Smith, and this is what happened. Looked like the Aston Martin clipped the fence, and then that ricocheted into the Porsche, and unfortunately put 2 cars back into the pits. Never what you want to see in a small field short race like this one, but unfortunately their night, so run and done. I think Stu Vaughan's come back out of the pits now, so he's going to continue on, but I reckon Colin, Curtis and Lockie are hanging the boots up for the night by the looks of things. So I think we need Pete Ellenbogen. I think you need to come back for the final race. We have to have one more hit out before we run and done, and many others. As the Corvette leaps up in the air there, flies down through the chase, full speed, hard on the brakes. You can see those brakes working overtime. Big flash of exhaust. It's got a little bit of damage on the car. He's just really pushing it up against the fence, and Jordan Knockholes once again keeping him honest. Let's jump on board with Jordan and let's just see how the lines change between these 2 cars throughout a lap here of Mount Panorama. Just see the gap that Roberts opens up over the top of the mountain. He's strong through there. I'm sure he's done many a lap around the top there, and this is where the BMW probably comes back in his zones. We'll put up the dashboard there, see what sort of top speed we're reaching. High 200s, I presume, in these cars. 250 as he climbs over the crest and then starts to descend down towards the ridges and books a room for the night. 270, tips it into the chase. Around that 276, 278 we see there to be the top speed. We'll just quickly flash that graphic up and see what iRacing is going to give us as a top speed for the cars. 276, a 281 it was for Knockholes is what the telemetry is going to give us. So 276 for the Corvette of Roberts, 291, so it's gone up again, it's just refreshed. 294 for Roberts, 291 for Jordan Knockholes, 280 for Price, who was a bit down on speed on that lap just gone by. So 4 laps in, you can see the gains there. Falzon's up 6, McClurkin's up 1 now into 8th. Carroll, is Hayden Carroll, here he is. He's made up 4 positions now to be back in P6, and he's chasing down Tony Don, who just flashes past. It's still one of my favourite liveries in this series. And Tony has been, I think, there from day dot, and isn't that a good looking race car? So Tony's trying to chase down Matt Dexter, who's in the white with the blue M, not to be confused with Curtis, who's in the blue with the white M. And I think Curtis has come back out on the track. He has. It's good to see Curtis hasn't parked it up for the night. He's going to come out and finish some laps here. And we'll give him a bit of airtime for his trouble. Lockie as well has come back out on the track. So both those cars, after that big crash, probably had quite a repair to do, hence why they took a while to get back out on the track. I'm sure they'd much rather crash a car in the sim here and have the 0 repair bill than a real life race car, that's for sure. Roberts once again right out to the fence at the elbow. Leaves nothing at all to spare there, does he? Flick back to Hayden Carroll, starting to close in now on Tony Don. You would think probably down the pit straight. Hayden's very good on the brakes here. Watch him close up under brakes into the final corner. Right up onto the back of Tony, tips it in nicely. Oh, Tony flashing, and this is one thing that since the start of the night, I think Rand said that Tony disappeared and reappeared and can just play havoc on your relative too, because when you race in iRacing, you get what's called a relative, very similar to the battle box I've just put up on the right hand side there. It tells you where the cars are around you, and if that car is disappearing and lagging in and out, that relative also disappears. Stu Vaughan also coming back now, trying to find his way past Adrian Price. So Stu's back out on the racetrack, and I presume had a little bit of damage earlier on, which forced him into the pit lane. Start of this race, lap 5 of 10 now. Let's look back from Tony Don and watch Hayden. He's like a shark here, getting closer and closer, and he just disappears. So we'll go back to Hayden. You might jump on board with Hayden. Oh, he's gone wide there. Hayden went off the racetrack. So that all stemmed from Tony getting a little bit out of shape himself, and that put Hayden off, and he had to just catch his thoughts there. He almost put it in the fence. So good recovery. Now he just needs to settle himself down and try for another lap here. He's got plenty of time to go for a top 5, and that could have been nasty, as he's going to get a run on Don now, and that should be pretty much job done. They go wheel to wheel down. Conrad flat out the fastest straight in Australian motorsport. And Hayden Carroll moves up into 5th, so good job. His next target will be Matt Dexter, who's just up the road in the Aston Martin. He, what's the gap there? It's just on 3 seconds, so Hayden will have to put in a couple of quality laps now. Still sub 2 minute laps at the front from Roberts and Knockholes. There they are, the top 2. Separated by 1.7 seconds, then it's a further nearly 5 and a bit seconds back to Mark Pryor in 3rd place. Then you've got a couple of drivers behind there. It's still Hayden Carroll and Tony Don, and then 1,000 is the next all by his lonesome. Stu Vaughan next after him, and then we've got Adrian Pryor, Ram McClurkin also back there, and Lockie Barlow bringing up the rear of the field, P12, and unfortunately out of the race is Colin Smith. P2, HPF Esports, Jordan Knockholes. He's been quick throughout all the series I've seen him race in, and driving that BMW tonight. He's just dropped back on this lap by about a second, unfortunately. We'll have a look at the lap time in a second as they come down towards the line. But Roberts in front. You see consistently doing those 1:59.4s. What does he do this time? A 1:59.5, and I think you're going to see a plus 2 minute lap there. Yeah, 1.3 seconds slower was Jordan on this lap. I just saw that gap open up, and that tells the story. So lap 2, he stayed with him. In fact, he was quicker on lap 2. Lap 3, he lost 0.8 of a second. Lap 4, he lost 0.2 of a second. He was quicker once again on lap 5, but that lap 6 there has really hurt him and knocked him almost out of range now. He's 3 seconds back, and any little advantage of the toe has now gone out the window. Robert's making it look easy over the top. Let's ride down on the nose camera. Have a look at this fantastic racetrack from this vantage point. Great camera shot, that one, just right down on the floor there as he does another 1:59. Look at those laps, 1:59.4, 1:59.8, a 1:59.8, a 1:59.5, a 1:59.3, turning the pace up slightly more, and has broken the back here of Jordan Knockles. The gap now 4.8 seconds. It's just consistency that he has to be able to just put in those laps time after time. Obviously he's got a lot of confidence now in the tyres, right up over the curb as well, so using all of the racetrack and consistency, confidence, and lap times like that, something you've got to be very, very happy with. So as we count down 3 or 2.5 laps to go now, as Benny goes across the top of the mountain, we'll look back further at Michael Fowles. He's fighting out this little battle for 7th with Stu Vaughn. Aston Martin versus BMW for the minor placings. And further behind them you've got then Adrian Pryor. I'm just trying to see if this battle, no, this is a lap car, so I think someone getting out of the way there for Adrian. Adrian just letting someone through. Love the sound of the off-throttle BMW of Michael Fowles as he comes down through the dipper. I think he's sporting a little bit of front splitter damage as well on that car, the right-hand side, just slightly scuffed. Some of the lap time comparisons there, you can see Carroll is really closing in on Dexter now. He's been taking 0.8, then 0.7 out of him on the last couple of laps. He can eye off a P4 here. Hayden Carroll, it's probably the best he'll be able to do tonight because Mark Pryor is a further 3 or 4 seconds up the road. But I reckon he fancies a shot at this. 2 laps to go now. He fancies a go. 4 minutes to run around this mountain. And he can see as he takes another, 0.7 out of him that lap. So it's been consistent. Lap 6, 7 and 8, he took between 7 and 8 out of Dexter. And I think we're going to see by the top of the mountain here, Hayden Carroll moving himself up into the top 4. Tell you what, they all get right out to that fence these days. I saw a lot of it in the Pro Invitational V8 Supercars. Like I said, I think it's more of a netcode thing than actually hitting the wall, but it clips that wall and the dust comes flying up in the air. They must be all practicing, trying to get every millimetre of track out there. As I tell you what, Matt Dexter holds his own over the top of the mountain, doesn't he? Carroll can't close up across this part of the racetrack. Seems to get him down through the elbow and then on, look at this, down through the dipper as well, closed right up there. That's where he's confident, Hayden Carroll. Now he needs to get a good slipstream. This is the closest he's been coming onto Conrod. And is that Mark Pryor just up the road as well? It could be. It is. So once again, we've got 3 cars separated by only a second and a half here leading into the final lap of the race. Pryor will do anything here to hang on to this P3 podium position. Out in front, about to start his final lap. Takes the white flag, Ben Roberts, 1 to go. So he should be able to bring this home. The gap nearly 7 seconds back to P2. Jordan Knockolds flashes the headlights. I think maybe he thinks the race is over. No. 1 to go. And then Mark Pryor, look at this. 3 drivers now battling for the final podium position. Does Pryor have the nerve to hang on here in the final lap? I'm gonna root for him. I think he can. After that race 2 podium, I think he can do it again in race 3. It's a new fastest lap of the race for Stu Vaughan. All too late, unfortunately for him. He's had a up and down, topsy-turvy kind of night. So Hayden in the background there in that Corvette just has not been able to get past Matt Dexter. He really reeled him in. 7, 8, 10 second a lap. But once getting onto the tail end of him, hasn't been able to put the move on. And subsequently, he's sort of just been sitting there, stuck in P5. Is he content with that? Is that all he wants to do? Surely not. Surely he'll push on for an overtake here with half a lap to go. They're spreading out across the top of the mountain. Don't want to be too close to each other through here. Vision is important as anything across the top of the mountain. When you're right up underneath the rear wing of another car, so hard to see what's going on ahead of you, to pick your braking zone. You sort of do it from memory. And pressure cooking moment here as Dexter slides it through the dipper. Now Hayden's all over the back of him. That little slide from Dexter cost him time. This will set Hayden up really nicely for a good slipstream. Again, a lock brake and almost into the fence for Dexter. We don't want to miss our race winner, who's just coming down through the chase now to finish and take a win in race 3. Benjamin Roberts will do this in style tonight, but we want to have a quick look back to Carroll. I don't think he's got past him yet. He's going to have a shot as they head down towards the chase, but back to take the checker flag. Benjamin Roberts with a well-deserved win tonight. That's a fantastic effort. And Jordan Knockolds will come home P2. Mark Pryor should hang on for 3rd. Here he is, and he will. And it looks like Matt Dexter is also going to hang on for that 4th position. So Pryor across the line. Well done. P3 on the podium. Dexter hangs on. Matty Dexter hangs on for 4th. Hayden Carroll gets 5th. Stu Vaughan will come home in 6th place. Good recovery in the end ahead of Tony Don. And then Adrian Pryor should come home ahead of Michael Falzon, who's further back. Ram McClurkin as well, back in 10th place. Still going across the top of the mountain in that beautiful looking race car. Curtis Dexter and Lockie Barlow will be right at the back. But how good was this guy tonight? Benjamin Roberts takes the win. 2 out of 3. Not bad at all. We'll have a quick chat with us shortly before we wrap things up here on Race Stars TV for our penultimate round of the Australian Sports Sedan, eSeries. And round number 4 from Mount Panorama has been fantastic. Don't go anywhere. This guy usually pulls a pretty good skid at the top of the mountain too, so hang on to your hats. Here he goes, Benjamin Roberts. Not tonight. I think he gave up on that skid. So we'll get him in for a quick chat, and here he is now. So Roberts, congratulations on the win, man. That was fantastic. You, in the end, made that look easy. I just had to comment on how consistent you were. 159 after 159, mate, throughout that race. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Yeah, it wasn't easy getting a little bit of damage on the first lap going across the top. And actually, I think I had that same damage in all 3 races, basically. But yeah, sort of fairly comfortable, so I'm happy.
And the Corvette, mate, sounds incredible. What's it like driving over the top of the mountain there? Because it looks like that's where Jordan had a little bit of a... he could just draw you back in slightly across the top.
Yeah, it doesn't like to turn in the fast corners. It's got heaps of wing on it with the baseline setup. Yeah, so it just doesn't like to turn. It doesn't take bumps very well either.
Yeah, all in all, mate, great driving though. And like I said, just watching that consistency lap after lap, you're putting it in the same place, across the curbs, right out to the walls. Impressive drive, mate. Well done.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Jordan, well done for P2 too, mate. You really put the fight to Benny for, I guess, the first 3 or 4 laps in the race, and then he just sort of goes into this warp mode and starts to pull a second a lap on you. What's the story there?
He really does. I was keeping with him for a bit there, and then as he does, he just finds another gear and takes off and gaps you. But it was good to follow him for a while. But yeah, one of those things. He's just a beast.
And the car looked good, mate. Like I said, you looked really fast across the top of the mountain. It's probably where you looked really secure in the car, and also down through the S's we saw. It was Stewie, wasn't it, that threw it away down at the dipper, I think, in race 2. And he had a bit of trouble there. So you guys, you know, you kept it in one piece, which is the main thing. And like I said, you look really secure down through that part of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels so planted. You could tell I was clawing a little bit back there and just trying to keep it clean. Really, it'll get you if you're not concentrating, and managed to keep it clean. And yeah, like I said, couldn't pull enough back to stay with him, but managed to gap the ones behind and make it comfortable. So that was good.
Beautiful drive, mate. And then P3, Mark, I gave you a huge rap, mate, tonight, just saying how far you've come. And you know, you held off some challenges there in race 2, and then race 3, you could probably see that Maddie and Hayden were closing the gap, but right at the end there, just consistency as well meant that you could hold on and take 3rd place.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. I actually qualified and started from a qualifying position for a change.
I gave you a rap for that as well.
It was a little bit of luck, I think, in the first couple of races with guys going off around me, but the hardest thing around here is keeping off the fences, and I managed to do that most of the time. So that was awesome. It was good dicing with the boys. Yeah,
no, really good to watch. And like I said, you know, I've seen you come from, 4 years ago when you started doing this, and you would qualify or not qualify, start from the back, and now you're there, mate, qualifying mid-pack and then moving forward. So it's really good to watch.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind coming from the back and seeing how far I could get up, but I'm reasonably far up in the championship at the moment, so I figured I'd better try and stay up the front.
Well, good points today, man. A couple of 3rds there, so well done.
Thanks, Luke.
Right, let's do some thank yous, and then we'll throw it over to you, Rand, if you've got any questions for the guys or any comments. But first of all, starting with Mark, P3 tonight in our feature race. Who would you like to thank, Mark?
Well, definitely like to thank you, of course, and Rand for organising everything, and even when he was at Bathurst, still trying to arrange things. MR Automotive as usual, and just the other guys for turning up. It was awesome.
Good on you, mate. And then P2, Jordan, who'd you like to thank?
Yeah, we've just had a little one, so I'll dedicate it to him, which is pretty cool. And then apart from that, yeah, thanks to the HPF guys. They're always giving a helping hand and tuning in to watch. To my partner for dealing with me being on here for a while and allowing me to do it. And RM9 Designs for getting the car looking good. And of course to you and Rand for putting us on and looking after us. Well
done, mate. Yeah, the car looks schmick, so congratulations. Good job, P2. And then finally, Benny, who would you like to thank for the win tonight, mate?
Of course, yourself, Luke, and Rand for allowing this to happen. And of course, team sponsors, Simrich.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, and NP Designs.
Great drive. And well done to our podium tonight, Benjamin Roberts, Jordan Knockholes, and Mark Pryor. Top 3. Rand, interesting race. I was just watching that slow-mo, the super slow-mo of Benny clipping the wall across the top. Just shows using all of the track and more. What a great racetrack this is, Bathurst Mount Panorama.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? And he's a bit fancy, isn't he? Clipping walls and still going. Every time I looked at the wall and I had wheel damage. So good on him. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, no, it was good. Hopefully we can get a few more to show up to the last one, and because it could be our last one for a significant amount of time. But yeah, thanks for everybody that came along, and I think there was 3 people watching, so thanks to them. It's a bit shy of our thousands and thousands and thousands.
I did say that. I remember the first Oran Park, we had 5,000 people. I think the numbers is 3, but they come and go. They, there's probably 150 look at it over the course of an hour and a half.
It's all good. It's all good. We're having fun, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. That's all it's all about, man. You guys get to watch it back if you want, and everyone put on a good show, drove pretty well. There's a couple of accidents in there, but hey, it's Mount Panorama. There's always accidents.
Yeah, I think I caused a couple of them. So, no, one of them I caused. So, but yeah, no, look, it was pretty good. I think back in the day, we used to have way more crashes, didn't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
It was chaos. So, yeah, we're back November the 1st, aren't we, at Detroit? So I was going to move it because I've got a... I actually think I have... Well, I have to talk to you about that, but we'll post up the date if we are moving it. Yeah.
We can move.
So... just a few days. I think I had to just do a couple of days or a day or something. I can't remember, but we'll touch base and we'll let everyone know. So it'll be at Detroit if you, and I'll try and get a whole bunch of dudes to come do that last one. So it'd be nice to get 20 at Detroit.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Have like a finale party or something. It'd be great.
Giddy up. So yeah, thanks to Precision and to the Nationals also for sponsoring this series.
Awesome. Yeah, and big thanks to everyone that tuned in tonight. There were a few over on YouTube as well, so thanks, guys, and a couple of comments and that. So thanks, and yeah, one more round to go. I loved every moment tonight, so thanks, Ram, for all your hard work. I know you're a busy band, and then you can just chuck this in on the side, so everyone thanks you for that.
Oh, you're very kind. Everyone's been very kind to me. And but big thanks to you as Luke as well, and it seems like our journey will begin and end at a very similar time in this e-racing series world.
So fitting.
Oh my god, one day we're gonna have a beer.
Yeah, we will, man, for sure. But thanks, man. Have a good night, and yeah, thanks again for putting on this Australian Sports Sedan e-series for round number 4, our penultimate round. Thanks, man.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
See ya.